Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I was going to fade in from that title card. I was supposed to go like this, supposed to there, and then I go to this one, and then you get a nice fade, but I hit the wrong button. I'm setting up a whole new thing, which I think will be kind of fun, with the countdown clock, which is very retro, back to the way I had to do it when I was on Facebook and had to do the countdown clock. But I figure maybe if I put like a precise, we have 5 minutes to do the morning chit chat, then that might be a good thing for people. I don't know. We're going to try it out, but I didn't get it set up in time. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. For those watching not live who want to skip past the morning intro, scroll down. There will be a link or time code to scroll to so you can skip all of this malarkey. In the meantime, let's see what's going on in the chat room, which is very, very active this morning already. My goodness, that is always lovely to see. Martin Pitt in there early. Hello, early people. We got Marvin from Hertfordshire, the UK. Excellent. From a sunny, chilly Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire. I guess you can't really tell me how to pronounce things over chat, can you? Martin, I've been told from 4 different companies the future supplies of GH5 with lens kit into the UK are not expected until after Easter break. Oh, that is tragic. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. All right, everybody just have a little chit chat in here. I can scroll past a lot of the good morning pleasantries, but we'll just quick shout out. Good morning, Faked Cube and Fuse. Lots of regulars in here today. Good morning, Adrian. Good morning again, Marvin. And chit chat, back and forth. You guys are great, so active. And Martin flagged me first. He says, today PhotoJoseph is going to torment us with his new GH5 toys for his 2 GH5s. I must have been naughty in a former life. Well, not that naughty because I'm back to 1. The only reason I had 2 is because one of them was remember I got the one a while ago, right? Obviously. And that was the first one that I had, which was a pre-production unit. And then I got another pre-production unit that was supposed to be kind of final firmware. Don't know if it was, doesn't matter. But I had that for a while. And then the new one came, the actual production shipping unit came, and I had 2 for about 2 days, and then I had to ship the other one back. So I'm back down to 1. I can tell you're all crying. But yes, we are going to play with some new toys today. We got these 2 little guys here, which I, if you can believe this, have not even somebody's phone's going off. Oh, it's my iPad. So, I have not even opened yet. That's how much I love you guys. I wanted to wait to open this thing. All right, you do not disturb. So let's just get into this, shall we? Let's see. Scroll here. Anything else? Oh, another comment. You used the affiliate link. Thank you very much, Faked Cube. That is awesome. Anybody who's looking to buy stuff, using the affiliate link is always a good way to go. Helps me, doesn't cost you any more, makes me very happy. Martin says, PhotoJoseph gave you the final push to get a GH5. His passion with the product is amazing. Why, thank you. I'm glad to hear that. That is most awesome for sure. All right. Hey, as always, if you want to get my attention during the live chat, at PhotoJoseph, that'll put it in bright red on my screen, or if you really, really want to get my attention, or you just love the show so much you can't contain yourself, there is that little $ for the super chat button. Click on that, throw a nibble or 2 my way, and that is an awesome way to help keep the show on the air. And of course, there's that whole Patreon thing too. You'll see that pop up a couple times. All right, let's get this rolling on the show. Got everything I need? Hope I have everything I need. I don't know. We'll find out. I gotta get ears from him. I can't hear him talking Geeks Life. Look at that, $2. Thank you so much. Haven't seen the show in a long time. Well, thank you for contributing, and thank you for stopping by again today. Here we go. Good morning and welcome to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment, the only live daily photo show on the YouTubes, 9:30 a.m. Pacific. If you're not watching live, you could be, you should be. It's a lot of fun. You get to participate in the chat, and we really have fun with that part of it. So today's little wee show is opening these guys here. The battery extender, battery grip, what is it technically called? The battery grip, there you go, for the GH5, and the XLR1, which I am much more excited about. Battery life on this thing is phenomenal, frankly. And so I don't feel, you can always travel with extra batteries. So unless you're doing something where you really need a long form shoot and can't afford to change batteries, less important. But as you'll see, this does have a vertical trigger on it, which is really cool. So if you like that vertical grip, you like having extra long battery life without having to swap out, you don't mind having a bigger body, this is great. This, however, if you're doing serious filmmaking, is a really, really awesome tool. So obviously we'll talk about that. Let's start with this guy, because I think that's the simpler one. So what we are looking at here is, let's switch over to this camera. Hey, look at that. It's actually in frame for once. A little white on there. Anyway, that is the dealie we're going to looking at. Let's try and get that thing level. Haha. The BGGH5, which incidentally, if you are looking to purchase any of these things, remember there are links to all of this below. I think we put the links in there. If not, we'll put it in later. All right, the big unveil. This is not going to be the most dramatic unboxing in the world because, frankly, I should have 2 things, a manual and a product. We can skip the manual. There She is. Let's look at that thing. Let's get that up nice and close there. So there is the grip. As you can see, compared to the camera, it will fit nicely onto the bottom. We'll obviously put that on there. Let's see here. What has it got? It's got a little blue piece of tape that needs to come off. It has got a cap to protect the very special little contacts. We will have to remove the cap on the bottom of the GH5 as well. There's our battery door. Flip that open. There we go. Feels like one battery slot. Right, that's right. That's how this works. There's one battery slot in here, and then the one that goes into the GH5. So you're not putting two in here and none in the camera. It's one here and one in the camera. All right, so there's that. Let's see here. What else on this side of it? There's the vertical controls I told you about. There is a power switch on there as well, off on. I wonder if that's going to control the whole camera or just this. I guess we'll find out. Another FN button, another function button. That's great. So you've got another function button you can assign in there. There's a white balance, ISO, and the little under overexposure button. So basically, let's do it like this. Very similar controls to, here we go. Let's do it this way. That'll make sense. To what you have here. Actually, virtually identical. Look at that. So you got your shutter button, you got your dial, you've got your white balance, ISO, and under overexposure, and then an FN button. The only thing you don't have on here is the little red record button, which is perfectly fine because if you're shooting vertical video, you need to be slapped. So let's see here. Let's get this thing going. So on the bottom of this, there is this recipient port for yonder plug. Let's get that thing off of there. And you'll notice that this guy I spotted has what would appear to be a little storage container for that. Now this is important. You might be thinking, so what? Take it off, throw it away, who cares? No, don't do that. Don't do that. Here's why. If you take this off, the camera's no longer weather sealed, which fair point on that. I wish I didn't have it here. See, I always lose these things too. This guy right here, it has a cover, right? The little plastic cover. If that's off, this is technically no longer weather sealed. So you got to keep that thing on there. You got to keep that cover on there if you plan on taking this into the elements. So don't throw those things away. Now, if you have something on the hot shoe, like a microphone or flash, then you're fine. You're still weather sealed. But if it's just exposed like this, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. All right, let's see here. So this already has a battery in. Yes, it does. Let's attach this thing. So this is really pretty straightforward. Just stick it on there and screw it in. So simple, even if PhotoJoseph can do it. All right, lock that into place. Nice and snug on there. Ooh, and we missed this part on the back. It's got the little joggy wheelie joystick thing on the back, the same as, okay, now I gotta tilt the camera up a little bit. There we go. It's got the joggy wheelie, I forget what this is called, but whatever. That thing there, same as up here, so you can control that with your thumb, and there is the auto focus auto exposure lock there as well, and a thumb dial. So you really do have like all the same controls this way. All right, let's switch this thing over. Let's see. So this is the first time I've actually held it. Like I've seen it, but I've never actually held it with a grip on. Oh, I need to put a battery on. Let's do that. I did bring an extra battery. Here it is. Pop that guy in there. Super duper. All right, and there we go. So obviously it's heavier. But not ridiculous by any stretch of the imagination. For those who have large hands and have found that the bottom of the camera kind of dug into the palm of your hand, which I will say has been less of an issue with the GH5 because it's already just a little bit bigger than it was with the GH4, that is going to go away completely unless you're like Andre the Giant, in which case, even bigger hands. But that feels very good. And of course, the vertical grip, that's cool. I've always, that is one thing that I have missed. I've always liked the idea of a vertical grip. I used to shoot with the Canon 1DS Mark III, which is all in one body with the vertical grip, and I do like that vertical grip for vertical shooting. Now what I have, just to kind of show you the way that I have always done vertical shooting, those little simple little tips here. If you don't have the vertical grip, so if you're shooting like this, obviously you're shooting landscape horizontal. If you do this and your elbow goes out, that's just bad form, right? That's terrible. So what I've always done is I bring my hand around like this and I'll use my middle finger to trigger the shutter. It gives you a lot more stability, keeps you from sticking your arm way out there. But of course, if you've got this fancy thing on there, then that helps you to put it on the right way. And that is no longer an issue because you've got that vertical button on there. It does help, incidentally, if you screw this in the correct direction. There we go. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. There we go. So there's that. So that's pretty slick. I like it. All right, so now let's see here. If I flip the power switch on here, the whole camera does not come on. Okay, so let's put the power switch on there. Okay, power switch on the top, camera's on. Power switch on the bottom. On, off. So it must be a separate one just for that. So let's see if I turn this off. Yeah, if I turn this off, now this isn't doing anything. Turn that on, and it works. I would say, I would more than consider that a power on off, although I'm sure it is feeding the power to the camera or not, I would imagine. It's kind of a lock as well, so you can't accidentally bump that if you're carrying it around. So two ways to look at it, I suppose. But it's important to find out what battery is actually using. Okay, so I've got a new icon on here. Let's plug this thing in. Let's plug the camera in so you can see what I see. Because it is telling me that it's using the battery grip battery on there. Are we on? We are on. Let's go to this. Oh, my on-screen display is not going out. Let me switch that. Hold on, let me fix that first. Excuse me. Where is that? That is under the HDMI settings, which is not there, silly. There should be under here. My control, HDMI record output. Here we go. Info display on. There we go. Now you can see what I see. Okay, up in the very top right, you see the battery symbol, and you see it says BG for battery grip. Let's see what happens if I turn off. Oh, the battery grip is turned off. Okay, so whether it's on or off, it is pulling battery from there. Yeah, okay, so that's good to know. So it really is more like a lock button. That on-off is basically locking that battery grip, but it is still pulling battery from that battery grip. So I would say it's an interesting difference here, right? If you're used to a camera like the 1DS Mark III, did it? Oh no, the 1DS Mark III had one huge battery. What camera am I thinking of? Maybe it was a 5D. Maybe it was the 5D. I don't know. Someone I'm sure can tell me in the chat room. There are some cameras where you pull out the battery in the grip, and this thing has a post in it, and that post goes into that, and then you drop two batteries into here. I don't know which cameras do that. The reason I'm bringing this up is I was thinking, well, there is a little bit of an annoyance that if I want to change both batteries, I now have to take this grip off, which I think that's valid. But you've got a battery in here that is kind of locked away behind this, and then you've got the battery in here. The battery that it's going to use first, it would appear to be the BG, the battery grip battery, so it says on there. If I need to take this out, so now the camera, it has power cycle, the camera's on now, it is clearly using the internal battery because the BG is gone. I can go ahead and swap this out. That battery's still using. I can kind of try and keep that one as full as possible. I don't know. Different workflows, I suppose. Just depends on what you're doing. I don't know. And then let's see. Does this have, did I just see? Yeah, this also has, okay, this is cool. Let's go back to this view. If I wanted to put my power supply in here, I can do that. So that little guy releases so that I can put in a AC adapter into here. That cable will thread through that. That locks down, and away you go. So if you want to have this in a fully powered situation, but still have the grip on there, you can do that as well. So that's good to know. All right, excellent. Lock that back into place. Okay, cool. Let's see. What else do we want to look at on this thing? I don't know, it's not really much else to show. The buttons all do what the buttons do. Little strap slot. It's great. I mean, you know, it does what it's supposed to do. It does what it says in the tin. That's what we always expect, right? Let me see what's going on in the comments here. There are a bunch that have flown by. Let me scroll back up here, and someone reminding people to put the at in front of the name to get my attention. Very, very true. Okay, Marvin says, will you be providing a default setting file which we can use to follow your demos? Yes, I don't know about following the demos, but yes, I will. So I've actually put a lot of time already into this camera, really configuring the menu choices. Now I'm basing it largely off of, what's his name? I always forget the guy's name, it's terrible. Off of the GH4 setup guide that is kind of the de facto suggestions of motion, the guy who did that one. If you just Google GH4 setup, it's going to be the first hit. It's the 5-minute quick setup guide for the Panasonic GH4. Excuse me. There's actually a lot more than that one page to it, but it's a great place to start. Very, very good advice in there on how to set up your GH4 for filmmaking. Now, I am using this both for still and filmmaking, so I don't want to be switching profiles back and forth. So I've been looking for an ideal setup that accommodates both. I'm not there yet. I'm still fiddling with it. I'm still playing with it. But once I have that down to what I feel is a good, solid, this should work for a good long time, I will absolutely share that file with you guys for free. I'll just stick that up somewhere. You can download it. That'll be a fun little thing to do. So yes, I will, but it's going to be a little while because I need to spend more time with it to really get it right. Sully says, is there a dummy battery cable slot on the grip? Which I think that's what I just showed you. So I'm assuming that's what you're asking. Martin says, that storage of the cap, a simple idea, but smart idea. Clever engineers. Yeah, you gotta have that thing. You gotta have a place to put it, which there is no place to store this guy. So there you go. Let's see. Brent says, the battery grip is almost the size of the YAG, but only holds one battery. I'm sorry, but this is a missed opportunity. They should have designed the XL1 and battery grip with meters on one unit. Okay, that's a different topic. So it is not almost the size of the YAG. Okay, Ryan, I know this is a big ask, but see if you can find it. Middle cabinet, second shelf, maybe on the bottom shelf. It looks like this, but it's about 3 times the volume. Go. See if you can find it. All right, let's see here. Next up. Oh, and you say, sorry, missed opportunity. They should have designed the XL1 and battery grip with meters. I don't know if you're talking about battery meters or audio level meters. The XL1 has audio level meters, so there's that. So I'm not sure what else you mean by that. Oh, look at that. Nailed it. He found that. That's the YAG. That is not the same size. The YAG is a beast. It is a beast. The beast. Let's see here. Let's go to this camera. Can I, Jesus, look at this thing. It's a massive size difference here. Width and depth and length, whatever, all 3 dimensions, it is significantly bigger. The camera just sits on here. You can see the profile of the base, the camera, where that goes. This, incidentally, is not a battery grip, if anybody's wondering. This was designed to give you, come here, these guys on the YAG. So, XLR inputs, SDI outputs, and that guy right there, my friends, is a DC input because the only way to run this is to plug it into the wall. The power brick that goes with it is about the size of this. So nowhere near the same size. I am sorry, but that is a monster. Marginally useful. I'm glad they did what they did. Okay, so let's see what were comments. Anything else? Rumblelock says, no, hot shoe plug is not waterproof and it does not need to be. Does not need to be? Okay. Rumblelock knows a lot of techie stuff. I forget. Are you a reseller? I forget. You've told me before, Rumblelock. Remind me. Because you do know a lot of things and you're here to correct me when I'm wrong, which I really appreciate because God knows I make a lot of mistakes. Okay. Bernardo says, what wireless radio flash trigger do you use with the GH5? Oh, okay. I don't have one that works on TTL. I don't own a TTL one. I use a very dumb trigger. It's from a company called Photox, one of those two. And it is just manual. Works great, but it's purely manual. The, what are they called? Those are the big company that makes the wireless triggers. Everybody uses them. They're the big TTL wireless. I did a whole thing in New York on them. Wireless trigger. I'm sure if I just Google that, it'll come up. Thank God I have a computer here. Come on. What? I'll remember. Pocket Wizard. There it is. Pocket Wizard is kind of the de facto standard. Pocket Wizard does have TTL dealios for the LUMIX cameras now. They came out last year. So that's the only ones that I have any experience with. I don't own a set. They sent me on a demo and then they didn't keep a set. What? So anyway, so there's that. All right, keep on scrolling down. Marvin says, I need a right angle HDMI adapter. I have one, actually. That's sitting over there. I've used it in these demos before. I mean, it doesn't matter for this, but I have one, and they do work. So you can have this thing plugging the other direction, absolutely. Doug says, do you know a reliable way to control multiple GH4, GH5s remotely? Multiple, as in push one button and they all start recording? No. No. As far as remotely, you can use the app, but you'd have to have an iPhone or an iPad for each device. Set them all up and start like that. And that's wireless, so definitely not the most reliable. The most reliable is a wired trigger, which is not here. It's elsewhere right now, but a wired trigger, and then you can run extension cables. Those are the 2.5 millimeter stereo cable, so really cheap to buy an extension cable for that. And you can run those for, I don't know, ages and ages, and you can have those. So that would be the most reliable way. But that's all I know of. There might be something else out there. Maybe there's some third-party thing, but that's all I know of. Rumbalak also says, can you hot swap the battery grip battery without interrupting recording? Let's find out. That's a very, very good question. All right, so let's see. Let's put it in video mode. So it's recording. Okay, it's in video mode. I hit push the button. It is now recording. Okay, so here we're gonna full on do this. Let's go to the. Wait, why isn't it there? What happened to my view? Dang it! Why did I lose picture out? It's because I'm recording. No. Oh, I know why. Okay, hold on. I've got the camera set to probably to output 4K, which this thing cannot. Switcher thing cannot handle right now the way it's configured. So let's just see here, because I want you to see what happens if just in case there's something interesting that happens. Let's see here. Where's my HDMI out setting again? There we go. HDMI output down convert is set to off. So let's set that to 1080p. So it's not pushing a 4K signal out. And so I'm back on the picture there. Hit record. And yes, we still have the output, but I've lost my on-screen display. Shoot. Okay, I don't have the on-screen display. All right, you're just gonna have to trust me. So it is recording. Right now, I'm going to remove this battery. Nope. No, it definitely stopped. Yeah, I didn't like that. Which is weird. You would think it would handle that. Huh. But it doesn't. Very good question. That's unfortunate. I don't know why it's doing that, but it is. Oh well, there's the answer to your question. It may not be the answer you wanted, but it's an answer. Alrighty, next up is from Sully. Saul March is his name. That's right. He does that blog, Suggestions of Motion. You see, I found it. I just had to Google it. You gotta remember, you guys are like a minute behind me, so by the time I ask a question, I probably found the answer already. Anthony says, third-party DC couplers won't work with the grip. The wire on those come out the curved edge, and the official one has a bendy part that can be repositioned. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if you're right, because I have one. I have to turn off my remote camera. Let's find out. Remote camera off, and let's get the battery thing out of here. Come here. Oh, this is an official one. Sorry. Okay. I guess that's not much of a test, is it? Because this is an official one. I don't have a third-party one. So this is the official Panasonic one. I have third-party ones for other cameras. But if you were going to do this, then... Here, uh-oh. I was going to turn that camera on, but I can't because it just stole its power. Which I hope you didn't want to see anything from that camera anymore, because I'm going to have to go turn this back on, aren't I? But anyway, so there goes that. That goes out of the way. That folds down. That closes, and away you go. So... Sully or something, yeah. Sully was saying, no, it wasn't Sully. Anthony was saying, third party won't work with the grip. The wire on those comes out the curved edge. Really? That seems weird. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously I don't have any experience with it. If you do and you say it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But that would suck. I would say then there's probably multiple third party ones. Look for one as close to a design as this as you possibly can. All right, now I gotta go plug this thing back in. I can't do this from here. Hold on. Because I'm gonna want this camera again. So let's plug that back in. And that's fine. Turn it on. There we go. All right. That's back on. Yes, it is. Okay. Other comments, and then we're going to open this box. Faked Cube says, how big is the buffer in the GH5 anyway? I will have mine hopefully in a few hours, but I'm curious. I shoot a lot of bursts. 100 raw files. That is the buffer. That is the official word that I've seen. That's a lot. Brent says, if you lose power in the battery grip, does the camera battery seamlessly take over? That was the question that we already answered by trying it out. The answer was no, sadly. I don't know why. I mean, that does seem odd, doesn't it? I think that's worth note. Ryan, please make a note. I got to ask Panasonic about that one. Romblock says, I had a chance to test GH4 waterproofness in the sea and experience of fixing it, disassembling, and cleaning inside. It still works, except shutter because ruined tuning when plugged in. I have no idea what you're saying there. Type slower. So you dropped yours in the sea. That's a bad idea. Don't do that. Okay. Martin says, is in a mood to test things today. Why not? It's what we do. Okay, now let's play with this guy. because this is kind of fun too. So let's get this camera back into position. Since I moved that out of the way, lift that up, there we go. Focus on, we are now looking at this guy here. Oops, let's get that stuff out of the way. So this is the XLR1. This gives us higher level, what is it, 96K, I think that's right, input, and XLR inputs to boot. So let's take this thing apart. Let's see what we got in here. Manual. A case. Cases are handy. And a bag and a product. Here we go. So there she is. Let's get a nice close-up view of that guy. Come on, you can focus. There we go. So pretty straightforward. We got our hot shoe on there. You've got wires to hold, little clips to hold wires, presumably. And all your controls over here, all kinds of good stuff on there. And of course, our XLR inputs. Super duper. So let's put this thing on. We're just gonna get this high up a little bit higher here. There we go. And we'll just slide this guy into place. It's got a lock on it. That's good. Ooh, look at that. As soon as I slid it in, a little power light came on back there. Excellent. Lock that into place. That is now secured. So let's see. What can we do with this thing? Needless to say, plug in a microphone and off you go. It's got a cold shoe on the top there, so you can put a mic onto this. So one of the things that I've seen, one of the ways I've seen it demoed, is you'd put a higher quality boom on here than the kind of things that we were testing in our previous microphone test. Hey, have you seen the microphone test? If not, click here. Though, so you could get like a really nice Sennheiser or something on there. You could use like the Rode that I'm using right now, although that's a bit long. I mean, this Rode is like, how big is this thing? It's like that big. That'd be big. You could. It'd be a bit big. Excuse me. So you could certainly do the boom on there. You'd get a higher quality, better microphone, better quality input. But what I'm most interested in is the ability to use something like this. There's a reason this box is sitting on my desk. If you've got a couple of wireless mics. Now this is not, I wouldn't really run and gun this. This is, stick it on a tripod. Is this, that's the receiver. That's the transmitter, I mean. Need the receiver. No, other way around. This is the receiver. I'll get this right. So here we go. This would, oh right. Sennheiser, honest to God, I do not know what the point of this stupid Sennheiser thing is, because it looks like a cold shoe, but it isn't, because if you look at it closely, look at this. Somebody tell me what they were smoking when they designed this. This has no, the round part is the same size as the square, which means there's no gap, which means there's no way to slide this into the cold shoe on any camera. See, look at this. Like, it can't go in. Will somebody please tell me what they were smoking at Sennheiser when they did this? Because this is the dumbest thing ever. Anyway, little rant. One of the reasons that I am most excited about this, the reason that I would use this, is if I'm doing a two-person interview and I've got two wireless lav setups, with the GH4, before this camera, I would have to either record my audio to a separate recording device where I could record the different mics onto different channels, or I would have to mix them down, which you still couldn't do without some kind of external device, mix them down and record them into the camera as a single track, which I don't want. I want my two lav mics to be on two separate channels so that I can adjust levels, mix them separately. If somebody coughs, you can drop it out, whatever. That's the way I want it. So now you can do that. You can have two mics. You'd still have to have something to hold the receivers. And it's not like, again, we're not talking about a super portable rig here, but I could have two different mic inputs. So here's like here's the Sennheiser XLR input, right? So I'll plug that guy in there. I'd have a second one plugged in as well. These go off to my two receivers, which could be hanging in your bag or taped to the bottom of the camera, whatever. And now each lav mic goes to two separate channels. That's why I'm personally interested in this. I know a lot of people are going to have different reasons to use it, but to me, that's what makes this thing really cool and exciting. Dig that. And you can do it in the field. Again, it's a lot of gear, but you can do it in the field. You couldn't do that with the YAG because the YAG required DC power, so you couldn't do that with the YAG. So this is that right there alone makes for a huge improvement. So that I really, really like. Let's see what kind of controls we have on this thing. Little door, let's flip back over to here. Little door there so you can't accidentally bump your buttons. So now I am now trying to read this backwards. You've got So different levels. So duplicate controls for the left or right input or 1 or 2 input. You can choose whether it's, let's see if I can get this closer. Nope, this zoomed in all the way, sorry. Anyway, so you've got your line mic level input, plus phantom input, phantom power on there. You've got, okay, I have to turn this around, sorry. I'm trying to read this off my little monitor here and it's not working. So let's see, levels, you got -20, 0, and +20. Low cut, you can set it off, 16 hertz or 160 hertz. And there again, you've duplicated those settings for channels 1 and 2. You have input 1 and 1 or input 1 and 2. So I'm guessing 1 and 1 means if you have a single mic, it's going to go to both channels. Input 1 and 2 is going to split the channels. I'm guessing here, but that seems logical. And then of course a physical dial to adjust the input levels on both. Oh, and someone was talking about meters, and I said there must be meters on here, but apparently there's not. Well, you got the meters on the camera. So yeah, so there you go. I can see why you might want meters on there. I can see that. And then there's this thing called ACL, or ALC, auto low cut? Probably, off or on. Okay, that's it. That's all there is to it. Doesn't seem to do anything else. That's nice. That is nice. I like it. I'm excited about that for the reasons that I have already stated. All right, let's scroll back through here after I cough. Sorry about that. Let's see, scrolling back up. People still reminding other people to @PhotoJoseph so I can actually see your comments. That's a very good idea. All right, Brent says, I just wish the XL1 XLR1, right? Isn't it? XLR1 isn't, where did the box go? Yeah, the model number is XLR1, not XL1, just for the record. This is Brent saying, I just wish the XLR1 had the controls at rear and the meters. So meters I totally get. Controls at the rear instead of on the side? I guess it'd be wider. I guess, I mean, you know, to each their own, I suppose. I'm sure there's a good reason for that, but it doesn't. Let's see, Brent also says the GH5 won't overheat. That's true. The GH5 will not overheat. Your A7S Mark II does all the time. So, I mean, not that. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Sony. Sorry. Let's see. Martin says your GH5 is starting to look like a transformer with all those attachments. I know. It's funny because at this point, this ceases to be a really small little camera. But if you, I mean, still look at. Come on, let's get real here. Even if I attached my, okay, I'm not going to grab it, but if I attach my Ninja to this thing, relative to bigger cameras, it's still a lot smaller. It's a badass system. There's no way, there's just no other way around it. This is a killer system. Forget the battery grip for a moment. Just having this XLR1 on there, giving you that extra higher fidelity input. So I believe it's 96 hertz, kilohertz versus the 48 internal. I think that's right. Don't quote me on those numbers. You can look them up, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And then obviously the dual XLR inputs and going to separate channels. Huge, 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 huge. Okay. Let's see here. What else we got? Days After 24 says, I'm very confused on choosing between this or go full frame like the A7R2. Ladies and gentlemen in the comments, please elucidate. Is that the right word? Probably not. It's, look, Sony cameras, phenomenal, right? Great image quality. They do some really dumb things, like a lot of them don't have the flip out LCDs. Hello? Seriously, Casey Neistat. What is up with Casey Neistat using the Sony without a flip out LCD for vlogging? How can you possibly? Do you have any idea how this is just the greatest vlogging camera ever? I'm going to do a whole thing about that as soon as I get this battery grip off. I'm going to do a whole thing about that because to go along with the autofocus test that I am in the middle of doing right now, which by the way, getting some superb results now that I've figured a couple things out, this is an incredible vlogging camera right here. Unbelievable. Flip out LCD. Anyway, sorry. The Sony sensor is bigger, has better low light performance. Yes. Other than that, so many things that are better about this camera. I'm not even going to go into it now. And there are going to be plenty of people who will talk about that all over the place. Brent saying, yes, that's why I buy Electrosonic. Okay, Brent, I don't know. I have no idea where this comment came in. You might be talking about this stupid thing on there. Yes, Electrosonics are really good. They're also like twice the price. I'm not made of money over here, man. I would love to have a set of Electrosonics, though. Those things are really nice. Burns Tep says, back the knob out just above the shoe mount. No, this is a permanent fused thing. It's so weird. Thanks. Oh my God. How did I not see that before? How did I not see that before? Thank you, Burns. I'm going to go hide in shame now. How many shades of red have I just turned? Good Lord. Do I plan to test the battery drain of the XLR1? No. No, I don't plan to test it. Sorry. Those kind of tests are left to other people. Let's see here. Brent's... Oops. Oh, crap. My comments just flew by. What just happened? Someone says ALC is auto level correction. Oh, okay. Good. There you go. Learn something every day. But I scrolled past. What happened to my... Ah, damn it. Comments went flying by accidentally. Oh, there we go. Okay, do I plan to test? I do not. I wish Panasonic would put, this is from Brent as well, I wish Panasonic would put the GH5 XL1 in a form factor to compete with the FS5. You're talking about a $60,000 Sony camera, aren't you? Come on. But cool, I dig it. Let's do it, let's set it up. Picnic Tree Productions says, try twisting the round part. Yeah, okay, fine, I already got that. Jeez. AB says, what is your opinion of the Sony a7S II? I know it's a phenomenal camera, never personally used it. Mark Schneider says, can you briefly explain phantom power? Yes, absolutely, Mark. Phantom power is when you provide from your camera, your mixer, whatever it is, power to the microphone. Some microphones require power, some do not. There's condenser and, crap, I forget what the types are. So like this mic here does not require phantom power, which is really odd because most mics like this do. This one does not. The Rode that I'm talking on now does require power, but this is the NTG2, that's what I'm talking on here, but it has a dual mode thing. You can put a AA battery in it, so it can run off of that, or you can take out the battery and send phantom power from your mixer, your camera, whatever. So a lot of different cameras either require phantom power, you have to get power to it from your source, or have their internal power, or do not require power at all. I'm not enough of a microphone guru to understand, I'm not a microphone guru at all, to understand why some don't and do. I don't get that, but all I know is some do and some don't. And in general, it is pretty much conventional wisdom, from my understanding, and I've been told this by my rep at Sweetwater, that if you have a mic that does not require phantom power, but you send it phantom power, that's okay. You're not gonna hurt anything. Somebody by all means tell me if you believe that to be wrong, but that's what I've been told. Which is good because like on my mixing board over here, I've got a big Yamaha mixing board, multiple output, multiple inputs. Some mics require phantom, some do not. I can just turn it on and leave it on and be set. So there's phantom power. It's basically like plugging into the wall, but the power is coming from somewhere else. Camera, mixer, whatever it might be. Sean Mark Nipper, good morning, Sean. We may need to get a different cage to incorporate the XLR1. Yes, that is true. He's saying we because he and I have the same cage. I'm looking, I've got it sitting right over here. This is the Alzo, Alzo cage. It probably will not hold it. It looks like it'd get in the way. True story. Okay, and it has to be attached. Now, one of the questions that had come up before was, could you put an extension cable between these? As far as I know, no one's tested it yet, but there's no reason you shouldn't be able to. It's a simple 5.5, whatever you call it, prong connection. So if you have just a generic TTL style cable that has all 5 points on it, this many points on it, then you should be able to extend it, and then you can stick this anywhere. So that's something worth looking into for sure. Fuse says input 1.1 is for single input, 1.2 is input 1 to left audio, input 2 to right audio. See, I was right. There you go. All right. John Lee says, can you listen to your live recording with some earphones, headphones from the GH5 to ensure you're getting the right levels while recording? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, you can monitor. The GH5 has a headphone port right here. Oops. Come back down here. There we go. Yeah, wrong direction. All right. Focus. There we go. You can see behind the little, you can see the illustration on there. Whatever, just open this up. Boop. There it is. That is your headphone jack. So it's right above, if you're wondering what side I'm at, it's right above the HDMI port. So yes, you can monitor in there, no problem. Now I've caught up. ALC is auto level correction. Thank you, Fuse. APN TV finally caught a live broadcast. Excellent. Well, welcome. Andre from Slovenia. Hello, Andre. Good to see you. Andre was the guy who sent me the picture. He says he has a GH5 already, and he sent me this a while ago, and it was a GH2 and a GH3 next to each other. Fantastic. And then he realized he actually has a GH6 because he has the GH1 as well. So Andre, welcome. Thank you for watching today. That's awesome. All right. Fuse says 96 kilohertz is correct. Thank you very much. That's the audio quality you get when you're using this thing. Days After 24 says, that's true, Casey Neistat's paid by Sony. I wouldn't doubt that. He has not said that as far as I've seen. He has not said he's being sponsored, but he's shown an awful lot of love for a camera without a rear-facing LCD. And given his abuse of Canon cameras in the past, I would be surprised if he wasn't being paid by them. Casey has a GH5 on pre-order. Great. I hope somebody shows him how to set it up for focus, or else he's going to rail on that thing, and that's going to be bad for everybody. Damn it, this thing scrolled off screen again. Why does it do that? There we go. Let's see here. Alrighty, keep it on going. People, keep it on going. What do you think about the color science for the GH5? Well, it's supposed to be better than the GH4, and I love the colors out of all the Lumix cameras. That's an interesting thing. So, okay, well, to answer your question, I don't have an opinion about the color of this camera specifically yet compared to other cameras. With that said, I've heard things like, I like to shoot Canon because I love the color that you get out of it, the color science in it, the color you get out of it. Great, nothing wrong with that at all. Canons have a look, Nikons have a look, Lumix has a look. They all have their own look to them. I have always enjoyed the Lumix look. One of the things I especially enjoy is that I can put the camera, the vivid mode, I love the vivid for video. And it's very poppy, very high contrast, very saturated, but like the video that I shot in Mexico, which I will roll that, I think, on tomorrow's show. I want to play that for you guys. If you haven't already seen it. Hey, if you haven't seen it, you can click here and watch it now. The colors you get out of that in that vivid setting are just like out of control cool. I love how good it looks. But compared to other manufacturers, I don't really have an opinion. I love what's in here. So how's that? And as far as the GH5 itself specifically, haven't done enough side by side to decide, have an opinion either way. But so far, everything I've seen out of it, I mean, it looks great to me. So I'm happy. So I hope that answers your question. Flora says, I bought a Saramonic SRPA X2. I guess this is a microphone. Before I found out the XLR1 was going to be on the market. The Saramonic is a great adapter, but how much will I miss the 96 kilohertz 24-bit audio? Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about some adapter, so you don't need the XLR1, and you can just plug that in. I have no idea what that is, but let me just Google that because crap everywhere, so that I know what you're talking about. Unlock. Saramonic SRPA X2. Universal power adapter for DSLR camera. The heck? I have no idea what this thing is. Here, this is what he's talking about. Ah, crap. I didn't plug that in. God, hold on. I was setting up this morning. I plugged in my laptop. I forgot to plug it into the share screen, which is now caught on something. Honestly, people, you'd think after all these years of doing this thing, I'd be ready. But hey, where's the fun in that? All right, did it sync? It synced. Here we go. Let's go this full screen here. And this is what he's talking about. Saramonic Universal Audio Adapter. So what does this thing do? Gives you, okay, here's your XLR ins, stereo, and those are all inputs as well. Does this give you an output? Okay, output. So then let's see this plugged in. Well, that's kind of cool setup. So then, all right, that gives you stereo. Oh, okay, all right, I see. Now, does this record as well? It doesn't look like it. I don't see anything about a media. If it recorded as well, then that would be great, and you have a backup of your audio. This is one of the disadvantages. It's not called a problem. It's called disadvantages of doing your audio like this. You now only have the one audio recording. If you're working with an external recorder, and even from there feeding in a mixed down stereo signal into the camera, then you have a backup of your audio, which can be very useful to have. We always like backups, right? That doesn't look like it does that. So the question of whether will you miss the 96 kilohertz? It depends on what you're doing, right? If you're just doing normal dialogue conversation, no one's peaking, no one's going crazy, I think it's going to be fine. It's really about those more dynamic. I think of it like bit depth in cameras, and I'm like totally not the audio guy. I just know more and bigger is better. But I think having that gives you more range for working with it afterwards, for working in post. For the stuff that I've done, I've actually done comparison tests in here for this setup between 96 and 48 kilohertz and sent it to an audio engineer, and he's going, look, for what you're doing, there's no difference. Don't worry about it. So for a lot of stuff, there's no difference. For some, of course, there will be. But I think for a lot of run and gun kind of thing, you really probably don't need to worry about it too much. So, but that's a pretty big device. So you might want to send, what is that, 150 bucks? How much is the XLR1? I think it's about the same, isn't it? Let's see here. I have absolutely no idea. XLR1. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so that's considerably more. So that's 400 bucks. All right, so this is not, what you've got is considerably cheaper. But if this is what you want, then you got it. But yeah, that is not a $150 product. So there you go. So it is a little spendy. But if that's what you want, then that's what you got. Okay, next. I'm probably going to get slapped for having that reaction to the price. What are you going to do? All right, Martin said, oh yeah, video evidence. So you guys are talking about my mistake here, aren't you? I swear to God, I have, that is so funny, because how long have I had that thing, and I've always gone, why does this not work? How embarrassing. Can't deny it. All right, Brent says, no, the Sony we're talking about like a PXWFS5 is a $5,000 camera, baby brother of the FS7. Okay, now I'm going to have to Google this guy too. All right, because I like cameras. PXWFS5. Is that what you said? PXWFS5. Yes. Nope. That is not, I didn't type that right. PXWFS5. There we go. XD Cam Super 35 system. Oh, okay, it's one of these guys. This is what he's talking about. So you want to set up that, I forget what you originally said. You want to set up that kind of looks like this, or you can rig up like this. I don't remember what you were saying before. Sorry. I don't even remember what the original comment was. But anyway, that's the camera. If you want to spend $6,000 on a Super 35 digital camera, there you go. All right, next. Burns Tech. I've sent 48 volt phantom power to a non-powered mic and had nothing bad happen. There we go. Good. Good to hear. Brent says, are you getting the Panasonic power coupler they're selling for the GH5? I don't need it. I mean, I'm assuming it's the same one as for the GH4 because all the power stuff is the same. If there's a different one, somebody should tell me. But no. I mean, I might end up needing another one because who knows. But anyway, short answer, no. I don't have one planned. I don't have one coming. Oh my God, this thing scrolled off again. I'm having serious scrolling issues today. All right, here we go. And by the way, for anyone watching, we're done with the show and tell stuff. Now I'm just doing the comments. So if you're like done with the show, you know, feel free. Rumblex says, Lumix cameras provide inline power built in. You can use these mics without battery, but with inline power. Yes, that is correct. So he's saying that some microphones will get power. Forget about this whole thing for a moment. Some microphones require a little bit of power from this port. Is that the right port? Yes, from this port. And the Lumix cameras do supply that. For example, I have that Rode microscopic Rode micro. It's the stupidest name, I swear to God. Rode's mini micro is a little annoying. Here it is. Rode Video Micro Compact on-camera microphone. I've got this guy as kind of a little backup, not backup, just a little tiny lightweight mic, which works fine. And it does require power from the camera. It doesn't have its own power, it gets it from the camera. So if your camera doesn't supply power through that line, it wouldn't work. But I can't imagine, I would think most DSLM type cameras do. It'd be kind of hard to imagine a camera that doesn't these days. All right, John Lee says, I've just sold you. Excellent. Make sure you use the link below, please. Days After 24, what about the photography capabilities? I know. This is for photography, the grip. We're doing stuff, don't worry. I haven't forgot about that. I'm a photographer primarily, so I haven't forgot that. I'm really digging video these days. It's a lot of fun. Brent saying, Casey just started the Sony RX100 version 5 V5. Yeah, I know. I saw that video yesterday or whatever it was, day before. Neat little camera. Whatever. At least it has a flip-up LCD, right? Okay. Mark Schneider says, what are your thoughts on Vlog? Worth it? Okay, don't have it. Yes, worth it if you are going to take the time to color grade it properly, because that's what you have to do. You can't use the Vlog straight out of the camera without applying at least applying the color grade to it. Takes more work. If that's what you're doing, then yes, it's worth it. If you just want a really nice look out of the camera, don't use the Vlog. Just use one of the built-in looks. There you go. I think when it comes down to it, if you don't know, it's like if you have to ask, you can't afford it kind of a question. If you have to ask if you need Vlog, then you don't need it. Let's put it that way. I think that's a good way to look at it. All right, Doug Wilson says, when considering vlogging, run and gun shooting, what is your opinion of the weight balance of the GH5 and XLR1? Well, with the XLR1 on there, now, of course, I'd have to have another mic on there. I mean, obviously, at this point, it's getting heavier. Not that much. I mean, this thing doesn't weigh a ton, but, you know, it's not nothing, so it is significant. I mean, I wouldn't bother. For vlogging, I would not bother with the XLR1. I would just stick my what am I using now? The Shure VP, whatever. I'd stick that on the top and just go. That's what I've been doing. I think that's great. I really don't think you need this for vlogging. All right, let's see here. But weight-wise, obviously it's bigger. Balance, it's all straight up top, so it's not throwing it off balance. Hopefully that answers your question. Brand says, question, if you were shooting in-house real estate videos as a walkthrough on a handheld 3-axis gimbal, would you consider the Leica 12-60 wide enough or something else? Funny, you should ask that because I am probably late. Jesus, I gotta get going. I am doing a real estate thing today, not video, stills, but I use the 7-14 for the vast majority of the shots on doing real estate stuff because you want to get as much of the room as possible in a shot. You don't want it to be that fake fisheye, oh my God, look, it's this huge palace of a room, and you get there and, oh, that was the closet type of a shot. But you do want to get the whole thing. The 7-14 has been my go-to lens for real estate work. I always have other lenses with me, but that is probably the one that gets used, I don't know, I'd say 80% of the shots, maybe even more, especially for the interior. So yeah, I would look at that 7-14. All right. Seva says, Metabone Speed Booster EF-MFT, micro, the EF micro four thirds versus the Aperture deck lanes regain. No clue. Don't know anything about those. Once again, Metabones didn't want to work with me, so I don't know anything about them. Never shot with them. Good Lord. Okay. We're going to get to the end of this, and I got to get going because I'm supposed to be on the road in 10 minutes, and that clearly isn't going to happen. Does the audio, Adrian asking, does the audio adapter have a line in to attach to a mixing desk? No. No, the only inputs were the XLR inputs, right? Right. But your mixer could do XLR into this. I mean, my mixer is XLR out, so I could do that in here. Okay, Emax Tube says, I like those GH5 videos, cannot wait to see your autofocus tests. Yes, very soon. I was going to do more today, but I have to run. I've learned a lot in the last couple days doing autofocus tests with this thing. Very interesting. Not everything as I expected it to be. Quality's all there. But the settings aren't exactly where I expected them to be. So a little back and forth. We'll get there. Okay, last one. Biggest problem I have is the GH5 since I got it on the 1st of April is that I've gotten the time yet, probably haven't gotten the time yet, to test every function of the camera. Glad you have the same problem. Hey, you know, we all have the same amount of time in the day, don't we? That is a universal truth. Nobody has got more time in the day than anybody else. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta go, but I gotta show you one more thing. Damn it. All right, let me make sure this is up. Okay, boy, guys, it's gonna be fast. If you're shopping for cameras, Panasonic LUMIX stuff specifically, Panasonic is doing a big, huge sale right now till I think the 22nd. It's all in the notes down below. But here's the two things that I pulled up for you. I built this little graphic yesterday to show my top 3 camera bodies and top 3 lenses that are on sale right now. GH4, so the last year's model, obviously. $300 off, so only $1,200 for GH4. That makes that a phenomenal second camera for doing video. GX8, $200 off, just under $1,000, and the GX85, my personal favorite, go everywhere, love that little guy camera. Only $100 off, not a huge savings, but it's $100 is $100, and that brings it down to $700. Those are all body-only prices. So do check that out. Those links you can screenshot right now or just scroll down. The links are all there. And then lens choices, check this out. The 35-100 zoom f2.8 original, not the new Mark II, but the original is $400 off right now. So that's a $900 price for that. The 12-35 is $300 off, so under $700, and then the Nocticron, the bad boy lens, my absolute, like, just you pry this from my cold dead fingers lens, $200 off, bring it down to $1,400. Still a spendy lens, but worth every penny of that. So those are just 3 bodies and 3 lenses that I picked out of the bunch. There's a lot more stuff on there. There's a G7 kit that's I think $600. That's a body and lens. That's another phenomenal B camera, or if you're starting out, the G7 is just a phenomenal starting camera. It's great. G7 is great. I love that camera. Super lightweight. Excuse me. Anyway, B&H, those were B&H links. Autorama has these as well. The sales are all over the place. This isn't just B&H. This is a Panasonic thing. So whatever dealer you're going to use, you should be able to find the same prices. Do me a favor, I've linked down below already to the B&H prices because I built the graphic just because B&H loves me, so I love them back. But if you're going to buy from Autorama or Amazon, if you do me a favor, scroll down to the very bottom of the summary description thing on here, and there are generic B&H, Autorama, and Amazon links. If you just bookmark those, and every time you go shopping, you click on that first to get there, bonus for me. All right, guys, I really got to go. I'm so late right now. Thank you very much. Yes, I've used the Leica 15 1.7. It is one of my go-to standard lenses. Love it, love it. And it is very, very good. So late. Okay, I got to go.